We are going to the divisional round this week, going into conference next week, and this is the teams that will make it into the conference championship. This is Sports Hour. Right, last week was the divisional round, I think it was. And we went to the conference championship in this next round here. Quite a few games happened. There were 4 games that happened this last week in the divisional round. Start off with the Browns and the Knights. The Browns and Knights battled pretty well for the first 2 games. The Knights took an edge in each one of those games, leading the games 2-0, 103 to 112, and 90 to 93. But in the last game, we had the Browns demolished in game 3, 36 to 93. So the Knights won that series, and they took series 3-0. Panthers and Hawks faced off next. Panthers and Hawks. Panthers defeated them easily. They beat the Hawks easily in game 1 and game 2, even though the Hawks tried their hardest to get back in game 3. They won in overtime. Unfortunately, Panthers did win in overtime, 137 to 134. And while it took a little bit of time between the Werewolves and the Jets, sadly it didn't go out the way they wanted to. The Werewolves won game 1, game 2, won by dominating in the second and third games. In game 1, the Jets were able to win that one, 103 to 107. It was pretty close games for all 3 of the first 3 games. In game 4, though, it just wasn't their day. While the Jets were demolishing them in the games in the second and third quarters, they ended up losing that game as well in the fourth quarter. Whether or not the Werewolves actually started off, the Werewolves did start off of with their starters and then put the starters in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter is what made it so the Jets were able to win that game. So the Werewolves won that one 3-1. And Leland Cats. Not much. Leland Cats beat the Huskies in game 4 in a tight match. And all the games were pretty tight for that one. The Cats won in a tight match, 113 to 108. But all the games were really close. Huskies won game 1, 115-112. Cats won game 2 with a pretty heavy market. 98-71 for a really close game where the Cats won 102 and 101 in game 3. Those are what happened in those games. So Leland Cats did beat the Huskies, who were the 7th seed. So Leland Cats are going to move on to the next round. Now we get to look at I'll put the updates there. It is going to be very tough in these next 2 games. Games are going to occur at 2 o'clock for the Panthers, and Knights' first game happens at 2, and the Werewolves and the Leland Cats will start at 11. They will switch in the next game for 11 and 2. Monday will be determined at a later time. All those games will probably be 9 and probably 4 or something like that in coming at this. But knowing that these are the games that's going to happen, I actually did not determine it. I believe I'm correct, the Panthers are ahead. Let's look at the divisional here. Panthers have 18 points, and the Knights have 34. So it is negative 18 and 34. So the Panthers are favored plus 16 in that game. On the other side, we have the Werewolves and Leland Cats. Werewolves are 7 overall, and Leland Cats are 23 overall. So in context, it is a plus. The Werewolves are favored in this game by plus 20. Now this is the thing that's going to be very difficult because the ball bowls might be a little bit more complicated for it. I feel like these games are all going to be really close. From the context here, they're both really close games. The problem is both these teams are in the same division. So Panthers and Knights. Panthers kind of could deserve to get the first seed as well. The Panthers and Knights faced off plenty of times going through the season. I don't recall whether. Let me see what we got here. I think the Knights, by the way, have been the number 1 seed. And they've been everyone else in the division by at least once. The Knights Panthers game, which was the closest one, Panthers won that first one, and the second time they faced off against each other, it was a really high-scoring game. Panthers winning that one. My thing here, it becomes to really close positions. I could see easily this game going to both positions in no context here, because both these teams are actually very good teams. The Knights are a little bit lower than they actually probably deserve at this point in time, because the Knights absolutely have done really well. They've beaten the number 1 seed, and we look at the number 1 seed positions when they played, the Knights lost the first 2 games and then won the next 3. So they actually had to come back off that, which made them kind of tired. Then they had to play this next round where they beat the Browns, who were the higher seed. They won all the game 3-0. Looking at this here, I feel like to say that it's going to be a very close matchup. Panthers are a much better team when it comes to offense positions. I'm going to say right now, I think the Knights do win this series. I think it's going to go to Game 5. I'm going to pick the Panthers. I think the Knights will win this 3-2. It's going to be very close. I wouldn't be surprised if this ended being a 3-1 series, or if it ended being the exact opposite. But I feel like it's going to be a very close matchup between these 2 teams. On the other side, that's also a divisional matchup. The Werewolves and Leland Cats, both of them made the playoffs. Both of them have really good when it comes to teams. Let's take a look at the Werewolves. Leland Cats. So the Leland Cats lost that one there. That was the last one. Let's see. I don't see that one. Leland Cats. Okay, they did play it there earlier. The Leland Cats unfortunately lost that one too. I feel like the Leland Cats are a lot better than what they have. I feel like the Leland Cats should be able to do something else. I am going to give the favor to the Werewolves. However, I'm going to say exactly the same thing with this one. I feel like this could go any different direction. I'm going to pick the Werewolves to winning this, but I won't be surprised if the Leland Cats win this one. Now, I think both these teams have made the playoffs multiple times. Let's see. I don't think that neither one of them made the playoffs in this one, right? No. And neither one of them has made the playoffs recently. They both have made it to the backside here. I think the Cats might have made it more recently. Yeah, Cats made it in 2023. And then played one and did it again before getting eliminated in the round the conference championship against the Packers, which the Packers didn't didn't win that one. But in context of this, actually was the last time when they actually had a non-limited overtime. And me, I'm going to say it right now, I do think it's going to be the Leland Cats that win this one, but it's going to be very close. I'm going to say Leland Cats. I'm going to go over the Werewolves winning this one. I think it's going to be 3-2. And the teams that will make it into, if I'm correct, will be the Werewolves and the Knights. Now, had those teams faced off before is a question to note this season, because if they faced off before, that might change everything a little bit. I don't know if they have faced off. Panthers and Knights faced off, yeah. We do that. The Knights and them have not faced off this year, so this could be a pretty big margin out of this. So I'm going to say right now this goes either way. We're going to go one more thing real quick before we end this one here. I think I've already determined most of this, but we'll go ahead and look at this for the East. Oh wait, wrong one. I've already determined most of what's happening here. Bad news is it's not completely determined yet, but here's what the seeds would look at right now. And because Panthers and Stars are both in there, we don't know what happens in that one. If the Panthers make it to the Ball Bowl, then the Stars will get that one. And then the Werewolves will get this one. If the Werewolves lose, I think honestly it doesn't matter. It only matters if the Panthers don't make it to it. So here's the scenario: if the Panthers make it to the Ball Bowl, the Stars will get that one, and the Werewolves will get that one. Then Leland Cats will get this one, and then who knows what happens this one. Big one just not going to be the Jets. The Jets don't have the best record position more. It's either UNC or the Lions. Right now for that, and we'll see what happens in that in a later position. Now, correction. It has already been determined that the Jets do make that. That was my bad. That's right? Jets have made it. Okay, yeah. So the Jets are that team. The question is, what we don't know is what's going to happen in any of these. Kind of do know something. We know it's going to be one of these teams is going to make it in there. If the Panthers make it to the Ball Bowl, then the Stars will put there and here. Werewolves will be here. And if the Leland Cats make it, the Werewolves will be there instead. That's just actually kind of it's a little bit complicated because we only have a few teams. And these are the only possibilities that can even occur. At this time, because of the context of how everything works out, we'll see how that works at the end. These are it. So we do know the three things that are going to happen. Now, another thing to note is the Knights can do it as well, but the Knights are on the 17th rank. If the Knights do make it, make a correction for this one. There is a correction. It's not that anymore, right? I think it's the Knights. Or it's now the Knights that do that. I know it's a little bit confusing, but they're confusing me. The Knights do it because they have the next record. And if you look back at the divisional rounds for the Knights make it. Now they don't quite do it. It's a little bit more complicated. It is still either the Knights or the Jets. The reason why that is the way it is because it's either Knights or the Jets, because here's the thing. If the Knights lose this week, then it will be the Knights that go in that position. If the Knights win this week, then the Panthers will go here, the Stars will go here, Werewolves will go here, assuming the Lara. So actually, it gets okay, this is really... Alright, let me try to get this. It depends on what happens, because all three of these teams, minus the Jets, are in the playoffs still. If the Werewolves win, then the Stars will get that position here. The Panthers will get that position. I'm still kind of lost when it comes to this, but when it comes to it is that the Werewolves either get one of these two positions. The Leland Cats, only way the Leland Cats can make it in is if they are the best NBL record or they make it to the playoffs. If they don't make it to the playoffs, the Leland Cats will get there. And the thing is, that matters because the Leland Cats and Werewolves do face off against each other. So in context here, Leland Cats, if the Leland Cats do win, the Leland Cats make it to the Ball Bowl. So the Werewolves will be in that position. Stars will get that position, and the Panthers, or whoever does it, will get to that position. It's really kind of complex, but we'll get to that when we get to it. That's next week. And that's it for this episode. There is really not much else to say. On the context here, it will be the seeds. Seed 5 and Seed 8 will face off against each other, and then Seed 3 and Seed 5 will face off against each other. And that's what happens this week. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.